Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. First, I guess, full-on video of 2025. So this video is going to be sort of a rant experience video because I just got back from Mexico yesterday, and I tell you, the travel experience I had coming back was a nightmare. It's early in the morning, it's like 7:30, and I normally used to waking up like at this time in Mexico. But I've only been back for a few hours. I got back yesterday afternoon, and I want to tell y'all my terrible travel experience that I had coming back from there to here. So the trip actually went pretty well. I was there for 2 weeks. Initially, I was actually supposed to come back Thursday, but because of the bad weather that hit, the snow, the ice, and the really cold temperatures, we decided to push our flight back to Sunday. And it's like, okay, no big deal. Little man, I missed the snow, but again, it's no big deal. And we flew with Viva Aerobus, which is a Mexican budget airline. Normally we fly on American Airlines, but we wanted to give this airline a try because I flew with them in the summer to Guadalajara as well, but we didn't actually go non-stop. We actually connected. And I was there for like a couple days. That's when I went to Puerto Vallarta, but basically that experience went by pretty well. And American Airlines tickets were through the roof, or the prices, and so we saw Viva Aerobus and we were like, let's give them a chance. And my dad was skeptical from the very beginning, but we were just like, okay, we just gotta pray to God that it goes wrong. And that's exactly what happened, essentially. So Sunday comes, we actually booked our flight because originally we were again coming back Thursday, and we pushed our flight back to Sunday because of the bad weather. We had booked an early 6 a.m. flight because that was the only one that was available to go non-stop to Dallas. The other ones you had long layovers overnight, so that's why we chose that one. And so it's Sunday, we get to the airport, it's 4 in the morning, and I think that's where we kind of do our first mistake, because actually they normally advise you to get to the airport 3 hours for international flights and 2 before national flights. But normally that's what we do. We kind of get there a little later than we're supposed to, and we don't run into any problems. And so I will admit that was a mistake on our end that we probably should have done better. So we get to the airport, we see this huge ass line, and we're just like, wow, what is this for? Because we entered on one side of the airport, and to get to our we had to check in because not everyone was able to check in, and we also had to register our luggage. I was the only one with my boarding pass, so technically, so I could have technically gone through security, but I was like, I'm not leaving my family behind, I'm going with them. So we're trying to find the airline to check in and register our luggage, and that's what the huge ass line was for. It was for them, and I was like, what? There is no way. And it was, because I was like, oh my god. It was from one end to the airport, and it goes like way far across. If you know Guadalajara's airport, then you know how massive it is. It was pretty bad. And the reason the line was so ginormously long is because they had the counters for 3 international flights going to Dallas, Los Angeles, and Houston. I think it was Houston, on the same airline. So that line was for all 3 of them. And the reason it was is because they only had like two gates open for check-in for all those 3 flights. So there was a crap ton of people. They only had like 2 people working. And it was like, holy crap. And that already made me nervous. I was like, what if we miss our flight? But I was like, no. Stay positive. You're not gonna miss your flight. You'll be fine. So, after an hour or so, the line is like moving decently quick. So we're thinking, okay, we'll be fine. But once it's like 5 a.m., that's when the line starts moving very, very slowly. And we're just wondering, okay, what the hell is going on? Because I think there were only 1 or 2 people working. I don't remember. I was like so out of it. It was like 5 a.m. And so the boarding time for our flight comes, and I get the alert that boarding has started. And I was like, we're not gonna make it. But I was trying to again, not put those thoughts in my head, and we were not even checked in yet. But and I wasn't the only one. Me and my family weren't the only ones. There were like other crap ton of people who were also going to Dallas. Some are going to Houston, some are going to LA. They had their flights at 6 a.m. as well. I think the LA one was at 6:40, but they were still not helping them. So the gate agent tells us that they're gonna delay the flight, and I was like, okay, but the boarding had already started, so I was just like, okay. initially I thought they were the ones who closed the flight, but I guess they really don't. It's just the people at the gate once you're already boarding. They're the ones who close the flight, not the gate agents or not the agents from check-in. So, we get the alert and I'm kind of panicking, but I'm trying to, okay, if they said they're going to delay the flight, I guess I'll believe them. So, it's once we get to the front of the line, it's like finally 6 in the morning. That's the time our plane was supposed to take off. And I usually normally go on this flight radar app, Flight Radar 24, to check live flights. Ours was not up yet. So it's like, okay, they're going to push it back. So we get to the front of the gate, or to the very front of the line. And, we're doing the normal things. We try to register our luggage. We normally do that, and we do the check-in for the rest of my family. Then they start throwing us with a bunch of bullshit. The first thing they tell us is we don't have a destination. It's like, bro, if I'm booking a flight, I obviously have a destination. What do you mean I don't have a destination? What, do you think I'm just going to board a plane and y'all take me to whatever the hell y'all want to take me? Hell no. I'm going somewhere, man. I'm going to fucking Dallas. That's where I want to go. What do you mean I don't got a destination? So I don't know. They start throwing that at us. Then they tell us that when they try to print out our boarding passes, they said there was an error in the system and that me and my sister didn't have seats. I was like, what do you mean we don't have seats? They start saying a bunch of crap, that things aren't showing up in the system and that our luggages weren't showing up in the system either. Because if you don't know, with budget airlines, while the tickets are cheaper, you have to pay for everything. So add-ons. We paid a little extra for carry-ons. And those were already, in the reservation. And then they start telling us that wasn't in there. And I'm like, what do you mean that's not in there? So they make us go see a customer service agent on the other side of the airport. And only me and my mom go, so, my dad can, try to freaking get help from the other person too. So my dad stays there, and I go with my mom, and we're trying to freaking talk to customer service there to, say that, hey, there's a problem. They're telling us to come over here. That somebody's not showing up in their system with luggages, and me and my sister not having a seat number. So they sorted that out for us there. That took, I think 15 minutes. And then that's when I get an alert that the plane got delayed. That was now supposed to take off at 7. So I immediately felt relieved because I was like, okay, we can make this plane. So once that was done, it was 6:30. And, now we finally had everything after 2.5 hours. We go to security. They're telling us we go to a certain gate. So we do just that. We go to a gate. And when we get there, it's actually not too far a walk. Once we get past security, it's like a 5-minute walk. When we get there, there's another flight boarding. But it's not to Dallas, it's to Tijuana, Mexico. And so we tell them, hey, what about the flight to Dallas? They're saying it left already, but we know they were lying to us for 2 reasons. One, I had the reservation and said the flight was leaving at 7. And they told us this at 6:40. And on flight radar, the plane was not on the radar just yet. So that's how I knew they were lying, and they were pissing us off, dude. I think the boarding had finished and they just left the plane there. I don't know why. Maybe that's what made me think that, okay, they're waiting for us, but I don't know what they were doing. Then later I realized they had overbooked the flight. And I was like, why would you do that? Why the hell would you do that? Why would you overbook the flight? That doesn't make sense. We already paid our tickets way back in October. I don't understand. And I guess, well, part of it probably is because we got there late, so I definitely think that's a bad part on our end. But still though, you shouldn't be overbooking flights if we already have our reservation. And there were 2 other people working. They were trying to get people to board on the plane to Tijuana. But the way that it works here is you get on a bus. Because this terminal is or this exact terminal I was in, didn't have a place for airplanes. So you get on the bus takes you to the airplane. And so that's what they were doing for the flight to Tijuana. But there were 2 people working there, and there was 3 free gates on the left side of us. It's why didn't one of the other persons be okay, I'll open this gate and I'll help you guys to your plane to Dallas? That's not what they did though. They were not helping us at all. They didn't even want to help us. And like I said, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but we weren't the only ones they screwed over. There was 20, 25, 30 other people, a bunch of other families who were also getting on this flight to Dallas, and they weren't helpful either. Then it's 7 a.m. Then I get the alert that the flight route has started. And I go on flight radar, and our plane is literally moving. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it takes off 10 minutes later, and I'm like, it just left without us. whoop-de-f***ing-do. They left without us. And it's after 15-20 minutes that they finally help us. And at this point, we were all frustrated. I was pissed off. My dad was super pissed off. My sister was pissed off. My mom was more on the calmer side. I think we all just wanted to get home because we had already pushed our flight back for 3 extra days. And I wasn't the only one, again, who was pissed off. All the other families, because they weren't helping us. So it's just like, dog, they were so disorganized in Guadalajara. It's like, it's not even funny, bro. And I'll tell y'all a little bit of my story yesterday. It did go much better, but I still want to talk about this. So they were disorganized from the very beginning, having the giant line for 3 flights and only having 2 people working there. In Guadalajara, it's just like, dog. And I think part of it's because it's a massive airport. Compared to Monterrey, it was like way more organized, but I'll talk more about that. But still, and they weren't even helping us either. They were just throwing a bunch of crap at us. So it's at like 7:20, 7:30, they finally help us. And, you know, essentially, they put us on the flight for the next day. Because there were no more other flights available. I was kind of mad because I really already wanted to get back home. Because I already, again, overstayed my visit. And I was already feeling kind of homesick for Dallas. So I was like, they put us on the flight for the next day. And I'm like, alright, fine. Here's what it is. And they gave us a meal voucher for like, I think it was, I forgot. It was like $12. I forget how many pesos that is. And so we all got meal vouchers, and we just pretty much spent it at Carl's Jr. there at the airport. So I was like, alright, fine, we get a flight for the next day. The nice thing is they did give us our boarding passes immediately. So that means when we got there yesterday, we just went straight to security, didn't have to get in any line. And you know what the worst part was? We go to the airport yesterday morning. This time we actually get there earlier so nothing happens to us in case if something were to happen. There was no line on the freaking Viva Aerobus counters. It was empty, and I was like, holy mother of hell, a difference it makes. And that's because they only have direct flights from Guadalajara, like to certain locations in the United States on certain days. Sunday was one of them, but on Monday they didn't. That's why we didn't have a direct flight to Dallas. We actually had to connect in Monterrey for 6.5 hours, which actually didn't go as bad as I thought it was gonna go. So we get there, it's 3 in the morning, and we actually make it to our gate with 2.5 hours left before the plane was supposed to leave. And so we're there, it's 3 in the morning, but everything's closed. And then we take off from Guadalajara at 6:20. It's a very pretty flight. Actually, we saw the sunrise. I actually have a video I want to make with putting some calm background music and, you know, in the background of me just having that plane, you know, going through the sunrise. It's really pretty. I can't wait for you guys to see that. Anyway, so we get to Monterrey. We're there for 6.5 hours. Didn't take too long. Then we finally get on the plane in Dallas, which actually takes off at 1:50. We're supposed to take off at 2 o'clock. We got to Dallas 3 o'clock on the dot, and then we got back here at my house at 4:30. So yesterday went by way better, but I was already I was stressed already from what happened on Sunday. On top of that, I had very little sleep. By the time that we landed in Dallas, I was awake from like 36 hours. Because I think yes, about 36 hours. With only a few like naps in between. Because I had gotten up 2 a.m. Sunday to get to the airport. And, well, I didn't sleep much. I don't know. No, I did not take a nap at all at the airport. Because we were dealing with that stressful crap. And so we get back to my dad's hometown, and I'm like, taking a nap for 2 hours. And then I don't take a nap for the rest of the day. I don't think I take a nap for the rest of the day. Then I go to sleep again last night. Not last night, but the night before. That's what? 3 hours. And I take like a couple of naps at the airport. But they're in the plane and in the airport. And essentially, they were very short naps. On the plane from Guadalajara to Monterrey, I took a nap, but that was terrible. One of the worst naps I had ever taken because I had very little leg room and my neck was hurting. And then I took like another nap at the airport in Monterrey, and then I took a nap on the flight back to Dallas. And I actually slept alright on that one because I had a bunch of leg room because I was sitting next to the emergency exit, which made me a little anxious considering what happened with Alaska Airlines last year. But I was like, no, don't put those thoughts in your head, you'll be fine. And yeah, but it was probably the worst and most stressful travel experience of my entire life ever. And I blame Viva Aerobus for this. So we're like, way behind on schedule on a lot of things, but that's essentially what happened. My worst travel experience ever, and it was with Viva Aerobus. Would I fly them again after this? Probably. It just really depends, or there are a lot of factors that went into this, because I was the only one who was able to check in. Normally, the rest of my family members have trouble checking in, and I'm not gonna say why. It's certain reasons that I shouldn't be saying, but if I was in a reservation by myself, then yes, I would probably fly them again, because I can immediately get my boarding pass and go straight to security. So if I was in a reservation by myself, or if we don't register any luggages, anything that doesn't involve us having to get in a line, I would probably fly them again. But that really depends, because they were way more organized in Monterrey than they were in Guadalajara. On top of that, when we were boarding our flights in Monterrey yesterday, everyone was in a line, but the line was all over the place for the correct zones or groups they call. In Monterrey, they were so organized, and probably because that's a much smaller airport. So I would just say, if you're flying out of a massive airport in Mexico, if you're flying Viva Aerobus out of a massive airport in Mexico, be careful, If you can't check in, or if you normally have trouble check, because there's a lot of factors to why you can't normally check in. But I would just say, be careful. If you're flying out of the United States on Viva, and you don't have to get in line for anything, well, that's always still good. But then even at DFW airport, it was much more organized. But if you have anything to you have to get in a line for something, if you have trouble checking in, or if you have to register any big luggages, and at a massive airport like Guadalajara, maybe it's much worse in Mexico City, I'd say just don't do it. Fly a different airline, because it'll save you the trouble that I had on Sunday. But I'd say, but other than that, if you're just going on a reservation by yourself, or if you just, don't have trouble, if you can actually check in and get your digital boarding pass, then you'll probably be fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, you guys. My terrible travel experience with Viva Aerobus. I'm gonna just, take a break from, well, technically, I normally don't travel till spring break afterwards, but I'm not gonna think about that just yet. But it feels good to be back, man. I was gone for 2 weeks. Got pushed back twice, one because it was snowing, because of the bad airline experience, and I'm back now. I'm back. My voice is tired from this video. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me guys know in the comments if you guys have ever had any bad travel experiences, whether it's with Viva, Aerobus, or I don't know, any other airline. I always, it's interesting to see what the experiences people have on airlines, because some people have good, some people have bad. It's always mixed, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's it for this video, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.